In our last problem, we want to write a two-column proof, and we want to prove these two triangles are congruent. Now, the way to do a two-column proof is we are going to show all three angles of one triangle are congruent to all three triangles of another triangle, and all three sides of the first triangle are congruent to all three sides of the second triangle. Now, the nice thing is we have a bunch of givens here. So notice, I start off here, angle J is congruent to angle P. So I can say, that's already marked for me, isn't it? Next, I'm told JK is congruent to PM. And that's marked for me with one tick mark. I'm told JL is congruent to PL. And that's marked for me. So notice I've already got two sides and one of the angles congruent. I'm still not done with my given. And my third given is L bisects KM. That's the only one that's not marked. So all of these are given. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at that first vocabulary word. What does bisect mean? Well, bisect means it goes through the middle. So since it goes through the middle, that tells me KL is congruent to LM or ML. I don't care which way you do it. So we're going to say KL is congruent to LM. How do I know that? Because of that vocabulary word. Definition of bisector. A bisector tells me it goes through the middle. Notice I got all three sides now, don't I? Now I got to work on my angles. And this is where we have to use some prior knowledge. Notice the two angle L's, they intersect. In the middle there, they cross. I know they're congruent because they're vertical angles. And so now I'm going to say, you can't just say angle L is congruent to itself because that'd be reflexive and it's not the same angle. The two angles are different. So we're going to use three letters. Angle KLJ is congruent to angle ML. I'm going to go PLM. Why? Because they're vertical angles. And notice now I have two angles congruent. So I only have one angle K and one angle M. So I can say angle K is congruent to angle M. Why? The one we just learned. That's your third angle theorem. Now I've got all three sides and all three angles congruent. So we can say triangle JLK is congruent to triangle PLM. How do you know that? That's the definition of congruent. In this case, we'll say triangles. We've shown all the parts are congruent. That's the definition of congruence, or congruent triangles. We got to say triangles there. That was a 5-step proof. Not so bad, but that first step was a doozy because we had a ton of givens. And that'll probably happen with you on your assignment, that if I do ask you to prove triangles congruent, it's not going to be very long. I mean, your given is going to be huge, and then you have to figure out maybe a couple other things so you can say they're congruent.